Welcome back, everyone. In this video, we're going to start creating a automatic blog generator application using Next.js and OpenAI. In this video, we're going to start creating the application, setting up our pages, and taking care of the basic layout of the application. In the latest videos, we're going to start working with the OpenAI API. We're going to do some prompt engineering, and we're going to learn a lot more of the stuff in this application. So let's get started with creating a new Next.js app. In your terminal, let's run npx create -next-app at latest, and we're gonna hit enter. We're gonna run through the configuration here, and we're gonna answer some questions that is going to set up our application in the next steps. So you might get prompted to install create React app. We're going create next app. We're gonna say yes. We're gonna name it, we can call this one blog genie or anything that you want. We cannot use capital letters, so just gonna put genie like this. It says we like to use TypeScript. We're gonna say yes. ESLint, yes. Tailwind, yes. Use the SRC directory, yes. Use the app router, yes. And do you want to customize? Yeah, I'm gonna say no. And this is going to run through the basic installation and setup. I pause and skip a little bit so the video doesn't get too long, but it's almost ready downloading everything and configuring the application. So I'm going to pause it and I'm going to resume when everything is done. All right, so my application has finished. We can see the success message. Now we're going to cd into our new folder. And we're going to open that with VS Code. I'm going to use the command open dot to open a new VS Code window. I'm going to bring that over here so we can see it in here. Cool. Now we can close this terminal and we can open a new terminal inside of VS Code when we need one to run the application. So before we do that, let's just do a little bit of cleanup in the application. So inside of the SRC folder, I'm going to find my page.tsx, and I'm going to delete everything inside of the main tag. So this from this div, line 6, all the way down to this closing div here. Delete it and just say hello for now. Let's get rid of this image for now. We don't need it at the moment. And also let's go to globals.css and we can, let's delete all this here. We can delete everything inside of the roots. And this, let's delete it. We'll declare that again when we need it to. So let's save the files and let's open a new terminal. And we're gonna run npm run dev. And then I'm going to find a new tab and visit localhost 3000. And I think I have a terminal running, so I'm gonna stop this really quick. I'm gonna find the terminal that I have open and I'm going to stop it so we can just run on the same on the same port. All right, so let me stop this here. Make sure this stop. I'm gonna run it again. So it's starting up. Now it's on localhost 3000. And I'm going to bring the tab open, the new tab. When it it's finished compiling, and I was trying to load out the page. And here we go. Let's bring it over to the screen here. Cool. So let's put this side by side for now. Let's do this here. And put this to the right hand side like this. Cool. So right now we don't have pretty much anything on the globals. We can close that up for now. In the main page, we only have the hello message here. We could delete everything inside of the class here so we can clear everything up. And now we're going to set up the landing page. Let's put some content in here just for kind of like set up the landing page, and then we're going to move to the other page that we're going to create, that we're going to start working on the layout for the main page. So in the main tag here, let's add a few class names to where. Let's start with the main. Let's say min high screen on this one. And let's delete this h1. Let's do a nav in here. And let's do a div that is going to say blog Genie or whatever you name your application. In the class, in the nav, we're going to add a class name. Let's add a flex justify between. We're going to let's say done. We can see it there. Let's do a padding of 5. Let's do a pg dash slate dash 600. Let's do text dash white. Save that. And then let's have a link in here. So I'm going to type link, and I'm going to select next link here, and I'm going to say login, and the href is just going to have a asterisk here for now. Cool. So that's our navbar for now on the landing page. Now after the navbar, let's have a section. Inside of the section, we're going to have let's do another div, and inside of the div we're going to have an h2 that is going to say star your free trial, just like a message for the users when they come in, just to add some information on the page. And then down here we're gonna have another link. Oops. Right after the h2, let's have a link that is going to say sign up, and the href is just going to point nowhere for now. We'll take care of that later. So on the section, let's add a class name, and I'm just doing the basic CSS in here. Feel free to change anything you want, change the color, and you know, do any customization you want. So here, justify center, so we can center this, and we're going to add a margin top of 80. So we center this here, margin tab 80 for now. And then on the div here, add a class name with bg-indigo 500, padding of 10, text -white, and font bold or extra bold, whatever you want. Let's do rounded. And what else? Let's do, that's fine for now. On the H2, let's add the class name here so we can increase the size of the text. So let's do text-3XL. And let's do a margin bottom of 5. And then to the link, we're gonna add a few classes to the link, but I want to do a custom class for the buttons that we're going to have. So that way we don't have to repeat all the different classes, because we're going to have different buttons in different locations. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to the globals here, and we're going to define a custom class of btn, just like the famous Bootstrap btn class. So in Tailwind, we have the different layers. So we got 3 different layers. We have the base layer, which allows you to target the elements, the HTML elements directly. The components, which is going to allow you to create your custom classes and use the built-in Tailwind classes. And utilities allows you to customize the utility classes that comes with Tailwind. So for the ones that we need right now, we need a custom class, and we want to use the classes from Tailwind. So we're going to use the components layer. So we're going to say add layer components, and then we're going to have a .btm class. And then in this one, we're going to use the apply directive, and we're going to say we're going to use a few Tailwind classes. So we're going to use the rounded -md. Then we're going to use the bg emerald, and then the 500. Then we're going to use padding x of 4, and then text white. And then we're going to say on hover, we're going to do bg-emerald 600, just to change the shade a little bit. And that's everything we need for now. So now that we have our custom class here, we're going to go back to the page, and we're going to add the class name btn. We're going to save it, and we have the button, but it doesn't look exactly how I want it to. Let me see what's missing here. Rounded MD, bg padding, okay, and then we have text white. And I think all we need, let me see, let me double check the class. Let's do, instead of x, let's just do in general padding of 4, or we can do, yeah, that's fine. And then let's do back here, let's do on this div, let's do text dash center. Cool, that's fine, we can leave it like that. Cool, so that is right now everything we need. Come on, there we go. Cool, so that's fine. This is our landing page for now. Later we can create a hero component if you want. You can add more information about the services that you have, or reviews, etc. You can add anything else that you want to the landing page. Now our next step will be to create a new page. So when the user logs in, it's going to be redirected to another page, or when the user signs up, it's going to direct it to a new page, and that one is going to be a dynamic route that we're going to create. So let's create that inside of app. We're going to right click in new folder, and here we're going to do square brackets blog, and then we're going to just hit enter there, and we're going to right click that folder. This is our new routes. It's just a dynamic route that we're going to use to display the next page and the different blogs that we're going to create. So let's do a new file. Let's call it page.tsx, and then we're going to work inside of this page now. So in this page, we're going to have the main layout of the page, which is going to be, we're going to have two different sections. We're going to have a left hand side, which is going to display the different posts that the users have created. Then on the right hand side, we're going to display the new blog that was generated, and we're going to show a text area at the bottom of the second section where the user can type their prompt or what they want to create. So here, let's just do a new function. Let's do export default async function. We're going to call it blog page. And here we're going to return. Let's have a main tag. Inside of the main tag, we're going to have two sections. So section 1 is going to be a section. Oops. Go back. Take this off. Inside of the section, let's just do a h2 that is going to say blogs for now. And then we're going to have a different section here, which is going to be section 2. So I'm going to copy this down, change it to section 2. And here we're going to have not just one, but we're going to have the area where we're going to display the text of the blog that was generated, and then a text, a form with a text area inside. So for now, let's do a div here. We're just gonna say, let's do an h2 that is going to say create a new blog for now, a new blog post, and then there we're going to display the actual blog that gets generated. And then down here we're going to have another div which is going to have a form. Let's just have an h2 that says form, so we can go to the page and see it first. So this is section 2. We got two divs inside, one for the text that's going to be displayed, and here we're going to display the text area so the user can type in their prompt. So let me hide this terminal for now because we don't need that. And let's navigate to / blog. What do we call it? Blog. Enter. And this is the page here. Cool. So I think we should call it blogs or blog. Okay, that's fine. We can keep it like that. So in here, let's just rename it to blog because it makes more sense here. So let's rename it to blogs, and then let's navigate here to blogs. And here, let's just keep everything consistent, blogs page. Cool. Close that up. Done save. Cool. So refresh it, everything is fine. So in here, we have, let's do section, do you mean selection? Okay, that's probably gonna cause an error because I renamed the page. So what we can do is that we can close everything. If that happens to you, close everything. We can stop the server. We can delete the cache in here if we wanted to, just to make sure we don't get any of these messages, any of these errors in here. So I'm going to say yes, delete that cache folder, and then I'm going to run this again. That usually happens when you rename your routes, your files, and the cache is looking for those pages with the previous name. So it's ready. Let's refresh it, and let's go back to that page. Compiling, everything looks fine now. Cool. So on the main tag here, let's start by adding a few classes. We're going to use the grid to create a 2-column grid. So let's do grid. Let's do height of the screen so we can take the whole entire space available, the screen size. Let's do grid dash calls, and then let's do square brackets, and the first column is going to be a dot to a fr, and then we're going to do underscore, and then the second column 1 fr. Cool. So we got the grid height, grid columns, and then we got the right. I'm missing a / here. There we go. Now it looks how I want it to look. Cool. So in the other section here, we're going to do, let's do a background color so we can see these two columns more clear. So bg dash grade dash 700, and then for this one, let's do class name, and let's do for this one bg dash grade dash 950. And then okay, let's do text white in here. If you want to have that color, text white, and we're going to keep it there for now. Also, let's do text white here so we can see this more clear. Cool. All right, so the first section, we only have blogs in there, and then later on, we're going to add more other blogs that gets generated. We're going to keep it here. So also, let's do a button in this section. Let's do a link, and let's do a sign out button, and a href that is not going to go anywhere for now. Later we handle sign in, sign up, sign out with of 0 or maybe something else. And to the link, let's add a class name and use the custom class of btn that we created. Okay, so right now let's add a little bit of, let's see in here. Yep. Let's just do one here because I don't want to change. Let's do margin bottom 5. Let's keep it like that for now because we're gonna get rid of this anyways. So sign out is there, and then we're going to keep it like this. Now let's work on this section because here we're gonna fill this out with the blocks that gets generated, but in the second section here is where we're going to work on the text area and the form. Let's start by adding a different color on this div, class name, and then let's do pg-grade-100, and we got it in here. Now let's do a padding of 10, and in here we're going to work on the form. Before we work on the form, let's add to this div here, let's add a class name so we can see clearly the two different sections, the two different divs inside of section 2. So on this one, let's do a flex 1 so I can take all the space available here and kind of like pushes this down. And then we're going to, let's do padding in the H2. Let's do in here first so we can, this works. Make this as a flex container, and then let's do flex dash call so it can be one on top of the other one. And now this one is taking effect on the flex 1 so it can take all the space available and kind of like pushes this down. And now that we're here, this is fine. Text white, that's fine. And then what else we're gonna do here? I think that's fine. We can clearly see this 3 different sections here. So let's work on the form here. Let's get rid of this H2. Let's have a actual form. And on the form, let's see what we're gonna have. We're going to have let's do a label first. That is going to be for HTML4. And here we're going to call this one the user underscore prompt. And then we're going to have a text area in here. And this text area, we're going to give it a name, user underscore prompt. Then we're going to have an ID with the same, let me just copy this one down, call it ID. And then what else we need? We need a class name to add a few things in here. So let's save this first to see how it looks. And also after the text area, we want to put a button that is going to say create, and the class name is going to have btn, and then we're going to say type submit. Type submit. Cool. Let me give this a little bit more space. Why this keep disconnecting? Come on, there we go. There you go. I got too much space here. I'm gonna refactor this in a second. I just don't want to move everything so you can follow along more easily, because when you refactor, everything just moves and looks very different. So on the class name, let's just do width and dash full. Let's do resize none. So this text area thing in here where you can resize disappears. and then let's do rounded and dash MD, and let's save that. Okay, so text area with full resize none, and then let's do, we need more classes in here. So let's wrap everything, these two, let's wrap that into a, let's do a field set, not a div. Let's cut this out. Let's use a field set to place this in here to be more semantic. And then let's do class name. And let's do on this one flex. And let's do, let's give this more space. See how it looks. Okay, they're not sitting in there well. Let's do, what are we missing here? Let's see. Okay, I think this should be working. Oh, this is not wrapping the button right here. Okay, there we go. Okay, now they touching, so let's do on the field set here, let's just do a gap of 3 or 2. That's fine. Cool. So let me refactor this. There we go. So now we got the div, we got the form, we got the field set, which is wrapping the label text area and the submit button. What else we got? And then we can, don't worry about this if you don't have that. That is just Google and maybe another extension that I have if you don't see that in yours. And the button, we can fix some of the button. I don't like really the button right now, but we'll change that later. No worries. So let's see what else we got to do here. We got the landing page. We got our dynamic routes. See how this looks a little bit bigger. Okay, cool. So I think for this video, that's it. In the next video, we can work on setting up the form action, and then maybe we could work on, let's create the folder, and then we are going to, let's say, right click on SRC, new folder, actions. Let's have that ready, and then in here, new file, index.js. And then in here, let's just declare a new function here. Let's have a use server in here, and then let's just have the function definition, and let's attach it to the form. Let's do export async function. Let's call it handle completion. And we're going to just accept the form data here, which is going to be of type form data. And then let's do const blog topic, which is what the user is going to type, what they want to write a blog about. And we're going to get that from form data dot get, and then we're going to get the user underscore prompt, and then we're going to cast that as a string, and then we're just going to console log the blog topic in here for now. That way we have the function ready. Then we can come back here, and we can, on the form, we can say action, and we're going to say handle completion here, and it's going to import it from our actions folder. So we save that and make sure that was imported here. Now, if we open the terminal here and we just type, let's do a quick text area placeholder. And let's say create a blog about, have that there, and then we're going to come here, we're going to say create a blog about making the text, we can't see it because it's white, so let's do in here, let's do text dash black, and then let's say write a blog about making espresso coffee at home. Making how many times? Making espresso coffee at home. Let's just create, and then we can see the console log here. Cool. So that's what we're going to be using to set up our call to the OpenAI API, which we're going to send and set up a custom prompt so we can generate a really nice blog post for our users. So we'll work on that in the next video. See you there.